Good evening, Speed Gaming. Hope you are having a wonderful Thursday afternoon, and if not, well, maybe we can do something to improve that. We have another matchup of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring 2019 tournament going on. I am Trenton, joined by the one, the only, except no substitutes, the Nits. Hello, Nits.
Good evening, Trenton, and hello everybody out there. Happy Easter weekend as we draw ever nearer. It's a 3-day weekend in some states, but for the rest of you, I hope you enjoyed hunting for chocolate the way these guys are going to be hunting for orbs.
Hunting for orbs, hunting for key items. We'll see them off and running very shortly. We have, of course, the banned black belt this round. Not going to affect too many runners, but it is a thing. And the forced black mage, that's pretty popular.
Yeah, I like the forced black mage because it's one of those classes that doesn't get a lot of love. There's a lot of arguments about whether or not you ever want one versus a red mage. They have so much more access to magic and weapons and armor, frankly. So, making somebody use one is something you're not going to see a lot of. And in fact, both parties tonight have a red mage as well. Nobody going for the white mage tonight.
Yeah, you do eliminate having the guarantee of life. Never mind, though. We're good with life there.
Life 2 in the first slot.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You're going to get that for your red mage right away, and you're going to get that for your knight after promotion. On the black side, you've got fast and quad X. Excellent spells, both of them.
They're excellent spells, but there's one thing they're bad at, and that's AoE damage. We have only harmed 3 for AoE damage, right? So
only harmed 3 so far. Yes, and with Town Shuffle, we don't know exactly what magic shop is going to be in the Provoca entrance, if one at all. So it might be a while before we get any AoE magic.
Yeah, now Quad X is plenty safe for killing Garland. But something like this 5-pack of imps, this is not a good situation if you didn't buy a weapon.
No, it's going to take you a while. You can quad X 4 of them, but you're going to have to beat one of them down. Okay, the fighter's going to be all right there. Ali on the right-hand side, he has 2 fighters, and he's immediately gone for a level upper battle against some nearby imps, where SVJ has headed directly to Garland. Which play do you prefer?
I don't mind either one. Actually, the only thing that I really would have told either runner is go to the weapons store, get something in your fighter hands. But that key is going to unlock a lot of treasure.
There you go. And the bottle, we don't know how useful that is just yet, because we don't know where Gaia is, but it could come into play early this game. With Town Shuffle, Gaia's not going to be buried in those mountains in the north, the far northeast. Gaia could be anywhere. So you might see that bottle get popped open really soon.
Got some great people hanging out in chat. Wow, we've got the canoe right away. That key led to an immediate canoe, so we have full access to the Intercontinent. A mage staff is phenomenal. AoE magic issues have been solved.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's a loose chest, right? So not only do we find the canoe, but we've knocked a loose chest out.
Yes, that's one of most likely 2 loose important items. And creeps are firing off Bane, and that didn't end well for Ali. Ali went for treasure in Temple of Fiends instead of straight for Garland like SaintVonJester did. That's a big difference.
Yeah, SVJ didn't check those chests at all, and we know now with the key-locked loose canoe in Canuria, that's even less likely that it'll be an important loose item here, but it's still possible.
Rune Sword is a good pickup. That is a reasonable sword to get your fighter started with. So I was about to say, so many great people hanging out in chat. We have Faywins who say so many Gene deaths incoming. If you look at SaintVonJester's side, Gene tends to go down. On the other hand, we've also got Dazrina joining us, and my nemesis, Tardan. Tardan took me down earlier in this week for this second round of the tournament. Great opponent. I'm sure we'll do wonderful going forward.
So the two of you pardon me, you're now 1-1. Tarna moves up to 2-0. Both of these runners tonight were matched for both being 0-1. So one of them will move up to the same record as you, Trenton, at 1-1. The other one will sink into the cellar at 0-2. Trying to avoid that situation, both runners tonight.
Yeah, getting a win bodes well for your future prospects in the tournament. We've got Melmond. And this is interesting because we got that level 1 harm 3, which I think SaintVonJester did pick up. You could get in some undead fights here and get some decent stuff.
$2,000 silver bracelets. That's worthy of some investment. Everybody can equip those. They're about as good as iron armor, so that's much cheaper for your knight. Pardon me, no, they're about as good as chain. The iron armor's even better.
Better for absorb, but I believe it carries an evade penalty that's pretty serious.
It does, but Knights of Fighters not known for their evasion too much anyway.
This is true. So, Quad X being used by Ali, who I believe has walked towards the Provoca entrance and bypassed Temple of Fiends for now.
Yeah, still no canoe for him. I noticed he took the long way around to visit Matoya as well, so I don't think he's gone to speak with the king at all, actually.
Yeah, not a lot of people do that without rescuing the princess. Minochi is probably the most frequent, what would you call it, most frequent user of that technique, we'll say.
Yeah, it depends a lot on, what you're looking for there, because if it's not something you need before you kill Garland, and most of the time it's not going to be, you can kill two birds with one stone by getting the warp and grabbing the king and princess item at the same time. So to head there right away and just visit the king on his own, you're usually not going to get anything out of it that saves you any time.
Yeah, no, you get key and mage staff. That obviously would be an instance where it could save you a ton of time.
It could. It could indeed.
The Mystic Key, though, is definitely going to take you in the direction of dwarves, where there's a whole lot of chests available, and hopefully gets you a lot of spell money.
Yeah, there's another town down there. We're going to visit, Elfland next, which could enter into any town as well. So maybe even Gaia, where that bottle will be useful again. So keep our eyes out for that. Look at that. Loose ribbon right off the bat in dwarves. We don't know if that's supposed to be the incentivized ribbon that was pushed too loose, or if that's simply a loose ribbon. So further information will be needed to make that determination later.
Yeah, I like to say never assume you found the incentive ribbon unless you find it from an incentive location, or you found the third. Coral Sword is going to be good armament if you're trying to keep the thief alive.
It's a pretty good weapon even if he's dead. Just won't get to use it very much.
With weapons fixes on, it could also be valuable in Sea Shrine if you're still using a thief at that point.
And on Ali G's side, Garland is erased and terminated. Sarah rescued, and he now also has his bottle and key, and surely very soon his canoe.
That's Ali, not Shirley.
Alright, SVJ cracks open the Sun Sword inside the Northwest Castle. That's a good find.
Yeah,
Kindly old king welcomed him in and said, check through the storehouse back there. Looks like you have the key.
It's fantastic. I wondered if SaintVonJester would take advantage of the mummies there. Does not at this time. With the canoe, we have the ability to skip Marsh Cave right now and go towards the Crescent Lake area. But we'll see what comes of this.
Looks like that's what he's doing. If I could get my hands on a low-level exit or warp, maybe I go back and pilfer out that incentivized item from March, but otherwise I don't mind skipping it for now.
Yeah, you are talking about at least a 3 in whatever chance of not needing the incentive location at Marsh, because you don't need the ruby, typically. You don't need the tail. And you don't need the third ribbon.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It could be a total waste of time, no doubt about it. On the other hand, in Elfland Entrance, which goes to Crescent Lake Town, we've got Nuke at level 6 and Exit at level 6. So it'll be a while before we see either of those. And I believe we got the slab from the Canoe Sage.
We got the slab, which is fascinating. Do you make the trek all the way back to translate the slab just to have it done? Because what if Crescent Lake is Lefane?
Yeah, I think you find that out first by canoeing your way over. Portage to Crescent Lake. If it's Lefane, then sure, you can head up that way and do that trip if you really feel the need to. Otherwise, probably a waste of time.
Stocking up on the heals. I don't know if SaintVonJester stocked up on Pures before leaving Canaria. The creeps with Bane have been giving Ali fits, and I don't think SaintVonJester has even seen that yet.
No, he hasn't that I'm aware of, and Ali's had a couple of bad wipes. That's kind of a shame, but there's a solo ogre. He's going to have to beat him up just to feel better about himself there.
Quad X is going to make easy work of the ogres, and level 5 at this point is pretty good. I've got target levels I like to be at for certain things. Like if going into a marsh cave, I want to be closer to level 8.
Yeah. SVJ heading east. He is going to portage his way over to Crescent Lake entrance now. He's got 22,000 gold pieces now, so depending on what's for sale, he could really outfit his team well.
That's very good spell money. I usually prioritize spells first, so I think in terms of that. He's got 2 possibilities for a free item here. Because we have the bottle, if this is Gaia, he's going to be able to pick up that right away. And he could also find it. Well, we already did find a confused old man. What am I saying? So he has 1 chance for a free item here.
And if it's Lefane, he does know that he could head north to Melmon, translate the slab, and come back. So there's sort of a possibility. It won't be free on this trip, but he could get it. Ooh, runs into a bit of a problem with some Lit 3 Caribes. Caribes are horrible. They come in large packs, they populate the rivers pretty early game, and when they have an ugly skill like Lit 3, it can be a real problem.
SaintVonJester doing some encounter manipulation. Looks like we have an okay walk for the first encounter, so hard resets do a lot. This is a great place to have a bunch of spell money.
It sure is. Brack and Ice 3 at level 3 are both excellent. With XXXX already available at level 1, Brack is a little bit less important, but surely a great way to take down Kraken and Tiamat and anything else too, frankly. So
that's not
lots of instant
Shirley,
death
that's
early.
SaintVonJester.
Somebody's paying attention.
Yeah, Brack is great for letting you kill Kraken and Tiamat and not really worry about your levels when you get there. You're more concerned if, do I have at least 6 charges of this? If I do, that fiend is going down.
Ali escapes a nasty arachnid battle by way of the mage staff. He has 1 light warrior on his knees crawling through the northwest castle.
As far as a non-required item goes, mage staff is, for early game purposes, probably even more valuable than Masa. I know that sounds weird to say, but the ability to clear out packs of encounters in the early game is so big. And Mage Staff, you're talking about being able to do damage to the undead as well.
Before I forget, SVJ also picked up at level 4 Fade for his Red Mage from the level 4 White Magic shop in Elfland, and is now looking really good as he heads north through the River Delta. Or actually, pardon me, he's heading back to the west.
Yeah, the seed is now telling you you're going to have to go to Marsh Caves, so he's moved in that direction with a lot better supplies. We picked up a bunch of tents. He wisely picked up a bunch of pures to handle the potential poisons that await.
Ali doing some pretty interesting grinding on his Black Mage here. Erases a couple of ogres. He's getting him a lot of charges. He's got to bring back the rest of that party. He's really playing with fire.
Yeah, he's gonna need the full party for Marsh Cave, but spell charges are a pretty sweet thing to have. And when you can get them cheap, right next to an inn, that's a great time to do that. It's one of the reasons I've always been fond of the Pede grind versus say, Peninsula of Power is because you're able to duck back in to usually Crescent Lake, stay at the end, and get all your magic charges back.
SVJ accosted by some bones and crawls in Marsh Cave. Nothing else is new. Mage Staff doing really good work here, strong against the undead and some of the slimes and stuff. A lot of them weak to just about any magic, actually. So it'll do excellently well for him.
And again, hope everybody's having a great evening. Thank you so much to everybody who's joining us here. Big thanks to Marty, who has put in an incredible effort tonight to get a bunch of Final Fantasy randomizer races set up. We appreciate you, bud. And there's ghouls with toxic. So yeah, that's a thing.
It's bad news. The ribbon is going to really help here, but it's only going to help one person. So this could be a bit of a challenge for whoever can dodge all of that.
AliGerBrap gonna pick up the slab now. Yeah, it's always unfortunate when you see toxic at any level is not great, but at a low level where your magic defense is low, that hurts. And you get it at a higher level where you've gotten more magic defense, it's just a little bit easier to endure. I'm a little surprised SaintVonJester didn't reset out of here. I didn't see anything in the first chest that would justify keeping the treasure instead of the Light Warriors. Unless he's going to two-man this, which would be an interesting play.
Well, he's continuing to keep the Mage Staff on the Thief instead of the, Light Warrior with the ribbon. So it's brave. His Red Mage has, of course, a lot of access to better magic, so that's why he's got the Mage Staff on there. But if he dies, could be problems.
Well, the other interesting thing about that setup is your Thief, of course, is a much better for running away, so... Life 2 in houses. He can restore his party. Now I understand the play. And we have a runner high five with AliGerBrap coming into the Marsh Cave. So with the canoe, our progression here could ultimately be either the floater or ship and some form of chain that leads to one of those. If it's the floater, that will give us full access to the world very early. If it's the ship, we'll have access to most of it.
And a lot of time to kill looking around. And yeah, like you said, it could be a quest chain in either of those directions. That means it could be the crown, it could be the herb.
Oh, something had stone.
We know he's got life too, as he's stocked up on softs.
They're always for sale at Canaria. He got one. Yeah, that's a good call to walk away with one or two whenever possible. But just the idea that is going on here in Marsh Cave, this starts to look like an evil one if you've got to dodge both toxic and stone effects.
Yeah, he grabbed the copper gauntlet out of that chest there, but that's one of the ones that's mirrored in another room, so you really don't have to make the trip into that room to grab that one, because you can get it in the chest on the right of the room he's just about to enter here, which he may deliberately skip, because he knew it was mirrored, but he could have saved a couple steps by getting that version instead.
He finds the dragon armor, which is a great find for a promoted knight. Here comes our first look at the wizards. They are runnable, so why not give that a shot with the thief?
Aha! And just like Trenton said, the early floater. This is going to blow this game wide open. Both runners are in here now trying to get their hands on it. So with the Mystic Key, they can actually clean the whole place out. SVJ doesn't seem to be interested in doing that, though. He's headed the other way.
It's a solid statistical play, and you've seen enough of this Marsh Cave that you don't really want to linger here. So I respect the play. I also respect Ali AliGerBrap remembering that you have the Mystic Key and to check these out.
Yes, but he does step on the wizard trap tile now, and he's at their mercy. Tom taking a beating, and he has to reset out. The good news is, at least, if there's a silver lining, he found the floater, so he 100% knows not to leave without it. So he is going to lose a few minutes here, but he's not necessarily going to lose the game just yet, because he just has to go and get that floater and get out.
Yeah, that should, in general, be a quick check. And Ali did come to the south side of Marsh Cave first, rather than checking out the chests in the north. That's not a play I would disagree with, given the incentive situation. But also, you can always save and then run to the north side chests. Be done that much easier with the incentive item. So, routing choice more than anything, I think. A good point in chat from Tarnan, but we already have the floater and one loose item. That sets this up to be on a pretty quick pace, mainly depending on where that second loose item is.
And
or
what
if you
it
happen to
is.
see a ribbon.
SVJ really not messing around. He's doing the old tent and save technique to get across the overworld very quickly, and with the airship now, the overworld is going to be even quicker. He heads to Gaia, which enters into Provoca, level 2 magic, and key item. It's a nice town to find.
Our magic pretty stacked so far, and now
No.
in Viz 2 at level 2.
Or in Viz 1 if you prefer something not as good.
Fire 2, Lock 2. I bought Lock 2 the other day, and I forgot to actually use it.
Not even going to bother checking the weapon shop. He's just going to go take care of this pirate menace and see what item he gets here.
I don't disagree. There's not a lot of value in the weapons shops, actually. You're gonna find loose stuff, so as long as you have a basic weapon to get you started, you're gonna find better anyways. It's not like you're gonna buy a silver sword and take it to the end game.
No. At least I hope not. No, we already have the Sun Sword anyhow, so
yeah.
At least we've got something to work with. And with the Pirate's Feet, we get the herb.
So we can awaken the prince, which is a pretty quick move from the airship. Now the armor shops, there's a lot of reason to check out what's going on here. SaintVonJester goes for the steel armor, and that extra defense. But you can find gold bracelets for sale and pro rings for sale.
Yeah, and those are just about best in class besides the opal bracelet, but there's only one of those anyhow.
One more dance with the wizards for AliGerBrap. This will be his last wizard trap tile of this Marsh Cave. Gets a silver helmet for the trouble.
And he hands down the wooden hat to his other fighter.
Well, why not? Defense is defense.
SVJ getting it done. Yep, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I love the routing play of going ahead and translating the slab, because you're going to get to Lefane here at some point, so you are better off having that translated than getting Luput.
Yeah, it's time to visit Old Man Sarda on his beautiful coastal estate at Sardal Lago. The Oxy Ale. Definitely required. Good to get that out of the way.
That'll allow us access to Sea Shrine once we find Anrak. Would feel a little bit early diving it with this party, but yeah, we'd probably get to mermaids. Yeah, speaking of Anrak.
You said a little bit early, and SVJ not interested? No, I don't think so. He's going to come back to this one.
I think right now you'd rather find Lefane. Go ahead and get your item there. And the Anrak entrance looks very tempting because you've also got the waterfall here. But the Dragon Islands are A lot of treasure.
Now, in Cardio Isle's full of treasure. We know one of the loose items is already off the table. Is this worth the time, or is this just, putting good money after bad here because you're mostly going to get whatever?
This is very quick. This is not like clearing an extra dungeon to look for stuff. This is most likely no encounters and a bunch of stuff. So you need stuff still. We don't have the defense to do the end game. The Opal Brace is going to be a very welcome sight, especially if he is going to keep that thief alive.
Yeah, going from cloth to Opal Bracelet is an increase of, 33 absorb.
Breaking news, scorpions are jerks in Marsh Cave. No one saw that coming.
Ah, the Bane Sword. Just to add to his arsenal of instant death.
It's not equipable till class change, but it's more AoE that you can do. I mean, if we were up against Kraken or Tiamat right now, we'd have 3 different ways to kill him, basically.
And SVJ finds the Vorpal, so Cardia is pretty stacked. Whatever your opinion of the Vorpal sword is, SVJ wears his preference for it on his sleeve. You can even see it in the corner of his stream. So I'm imagining after class change, that'll see some action.
I like this play from SaintVonJester, but these levels are perfectly fine for going into Castle Ordeals, and Mage Staff is perfectly fine for killing stuff in Castle Ordeals. Good combination.
Yeah, so far, pretty much all the right moves out of SVJ here. Really running a great race.
AliGerBrap trying to stay alive, got the ghouls with Toxic.
Clinging to that ribbon.
Did move the Mage Staff there, so 1 is all you need.
Yeah, really needs to get out of here with that floater is what he really needs.
Steps
and
away.
he has done so. It may seem now like he is, hopelessly far behind, but I promise you a bad Topher or some bad wipes by SVJ on any one of these upcoming dungeons, he'd be right back in this game.
There's still plenty of room for routing to make a difference. There's a lot of game ahead, even if this is a sprint seed. This is what I wondered if Ali was doing earlier in checking the north side last. Because with that save, you can just reset out if you don't get anything. Which you can do the other way, theoretically. But this way you already have the incentive item in the bank. So of course, not Temple of Fiends, Castle Ordeals vanilla, you would just always take the lower pillar and get through easily enough, but somebody had the crazy idea to randomize this.
It doesn't seem in keeping with the theme of the game, does it? Now, SVJ actually resets out of the Zombo fight, so takes what he knows about the pillars and carries on.
Yeah, Zombies are one of the things you would usually want to kill unless you knew for some reason you didn't want to fight them. On the other hand, that may have just been to keep the path through ordeals in your mind.
He's going to throw out a harm 3 amidst all his running away. And it's going to go off there because the thief was knocked unconscious. But someone else has dragged the party away.
Over 100 damage was not enough to kill the zombies, but they'd actually be weaker to fire than the harm spells. So, if I'm not terribly far off, I believe the Mage Staff would have more average damage than Harm 3 there. Harm 4 perhaps would outdo it.
Yeah, Harm 4 is equivalent to Fade. And I think that's going to be more than 50% more than Fire 2.
The thing of it is, with the harm spells, these undead enemies are not weak to harm. They're just, you can hit them with harm. SaintVonJester has some mummies. And it looks
going to
like
take this one.
Yep. Actually.
Yeah, he threw a lot of stuff at them, though, so I think it still might be a one-turn battle.
Okay, so apparently I'm wrong about the undead, because that harm spell definitely did more average damage than
Ice 3, on the other
Fire
hand,
2
is not going to cut into them very much, but at level 3, it's still powerful enough to finish that one off.
Yeah. Not many fights in this Chaos Lore deals for SaintVonJester so far.
And speaking of places just coming out of a fight against the undead, where Ice 3 is not useful, Nightmare is one of the few enemies that are weak to ice. Take a beating from it there.
They're not a fun enemy to fight, especially at low levels. They tend to be very high on the evasion side, which makes them very annoying to hit. We got Temper at level 6.
Yeah, alongside Nuke. Level 6 is a good level. Unfortunately, not going to have a lot of charges until you get really high in the levels.
That's an unfortunate couple of spells to be on the same level, though. Thor's Hammer, though, that makes that Sea Shrine look quite a bit more compelling, actually.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of lit magic, have we? So that's really helpful. And there's the tail. I think SVJ will be happy to see that, even though it's not strictly necessary. This is one of those places where Ali can make some ground if he ends up never having to come here. We'll save him a bit of time if he doesn't need to promote. But SVJ probably will, so he can use the Vorpal.
Also the Dragon Armor, so defensively a big upgrade.
Not to mention the Thief he's got there becomes way better when he becomes a ninja.
The ninjas, the weapon masters of Final Fantasy, able to equip every weapon except the Excalibur.
And
Actually,
there is one other. Maybe the Wizard Staff? I can't remember. Something unusual.
But yeah, Vorpal is... You could put Vorpal on the ninja and leave Sunsword on the knight would be an option. Switch it around when you get Katana. Didn't save, took a step, got an unrunnable encounter.
Classic. Now
it's like the game knows.
The game knows. And these are tough hombres too, but looks like he's going to get out of this okay.
AliGerBrap is airborne at the 31-minute mark. SaintVonJester's up to level 11. Tarnan confirms for us in chat after looking up that it is the Wizard Staff is the other one.
It's a real shame too, because it's such an excellent weapon.
It has situations in which it can be valuable.
You don't have to equip it to confuse carry with it. That's what it's really for.
So yeah, this should be an instant class change for SaintVonJester because there's no benefit to not doing it. There's also
by getting it done, as Trenton was just about to point out that if you promote before level 15, that is when you start getting your first charges. 15, 17, all the odd numbers after that. So if you can get promoted at level 14 or earlier, you'll get your magic charges as soon as you can. And that's what he's done at level 11.
There's that, and there's also just the actual ability to learn the spells. You can learn the spells now on the ninja. You can also learn the better spells that were class change blocked for the red and black mages.
Yeah, it can help your routing out quite a bit, that's true. Not having to double back later can be a meaningful time savings.
Adjusting that equipment, it's... I am not one who can memorize all of the equipment that a ninja can equip. I just know that the best you're doing is usually the elemental stuff, so flame armor, ice shield kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. And those pieces of gear, the ice armor and the flame armor, and the ice shield and the flame shield, are better than anything except for the Opaline Dragon. So they even outshine the Opal Bracelet.
AliGerBrap in Melmon to see what's here. Harm 4. a little expensive. So I would feel okay about a dive to the mermaids and see how tough the sea shrine is. You've also got the incentive at Ice Cave, which seems to be what SaintVonJester is thinking. And Volcano is right here. That's probably the roughest one right now, because our AoE magic just doesn't match up to it.
Yeah, he's getting his scamper on here. Doesn't feel like taking any of these fights on the top floor, and why would you? Just waste of time. The grind's probably going to come later when he finds a juicy tile or higher EXP enemies in further on dungeons.
Yeah, it really comes down to how efficiently can you kill stuff for EXP. So it's not even how much the encounter is worth, but can I kill this encounter efficiently?
Meanwhile, AliG runs into some buccaneers and highwaymen in the rough part of Melmond. The Zozo Melmond flag, kind of popular nowadays to just spice up that garbage town.
Yeah, it's not a bad encounter, because if the safe pirate's flag is on, or unsafe off, whichever way it is, because I haven't set that flag in a while, it's basically the safest encounter in the game. They're so low on their HP that if they're blocked from having anything dangerous, they're just free. Anything's going to kill them. A brisk wind is going to kill them.
Maybe not even a brisk wind. Maybe just like a
gentle
calm
summer breeze.
Yeah.
Garland could knock them down.
Yeah. Probably really could.
I would take Garland in that fight, just saying.
Especially if he has some sort of AoE.
Close.
So without warp or exit, SVJ is going to have to take care of Ice Cave the old-fashioned way, so he's going to have to do it twice around. AliG gets in another fight with pirates. This time, for real, he gets the herb from Mickey.
Did we actually see the herb turn in?
I don't think so.
Checking my notes. Well, I say my notes, and it's actually the wonderful Danny doing tracking for us. And no prints on there. So, no, herb's not been turned in yet. Question in chat. Seems as like SVJ has a notable lead. I would definitely say SVJ has accomplished more at this point. I'm reluctant on words like lead. I know it's almost
Trenton might be reluctant on words like lead. I would say he's got a tangible lead. Will it materialize in a victory? Well, too early to say.
Yeah, there was a difference with the RNG of Ali seeing Bane from creeps that SaintVonJester never did. And the routing for SaintVonJester early, just deciding to take Quad X straight to Garland, paid off.
Yeah, you could argue that Ali invited this by, dilly-dallying and checking chests instead of just going right down the gut. And there's the Excalibur in the trap chest in ice. That frees up the Vorpal if he wants to give it to his ninja. He doesn't seem to want to, though. He hasn't even passed it to him.
Okay, so we just found the ship was the item from the prince, but Ali reset out of it. I actually don't like it for a weird reason, which is the experience bonus. I would much rather have it for that purpose. As Lord Fizzlebeef echoes my comments in chat as I'm saying them. Yeah, so I like getting to that experience bonus as quickly as possible. Basically, you're taking the same number of fights regardless, so you may as well get more experience for the same fights. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah, the evidence has borne out time and again that it's better to squeak through if you can and spend your time fighting higher EXP monsters later in the game.
A light axe for SaintVonJester.
And now the enemy that haunted my childhood dreams, the Eye.
That sure was a thing as a kid. Couple of swings of the swords, take care of business. Is level 12 going to be all SaintVonJester wants, or will it be a little bit more? It's like, that's all.
Yeah, he's been employing sort of the get in, get out strategy all game long, and I don't see him wasting any time with the grind at this point either. Crystal for sale, but it'll set you back a cool 20k. That is the information AliGerBrap has found out after locating Gaia, and about to find out what the fairy gives after being released from the bottle. And that's a crown. This is a rough place for that to be. I doubt AliGerBrap has much to sell right now. I suppose there's a remote chance you could sell the dragon armor and bank on finding a ribbon to replace it. But this is also the Peninsula Power enemies, so you could get a bunch there. If we had the chime, you could go to the first couple floors of Mirage. As it stands, he flies away and is going to head to the on-rack entrance in the waterfall.
I can't say I disagree. I don't think I can agree or disagree with any play on that situation. Because
yeah,
there's no good answer. It's just which bad answer I'm going to take.
And there's the incentive ribbon, so we know the other one now for sure was a loose item, as you suggested. Don't ever assume it's an incentive unless it's a third one or an incentive location, and well, that was an incentive location, so we can check that off the list. That means there is still one more loose item out there.
What does work out in this situation for Ali, though, is the ability to go to Waterfall and very likely get enough money to afford that without stopping to just grind levels and get it. Meanwhile, Trolls trying to live up to their name, they've got crack. We're getting a look at the armory for SaintVonJester. Quick checks like this, something I like to do with the airship, because then you've got money for stuff that you want to buy. Like if you have found pro rings for sale, you probably want 2 of them at least. So, Mr. Nets of the development team, why does SaintVonJester screen say EXPs?
Ha! There's a lot of community-sourced like modding and changes that go on to this game. People are editing the sprites and stuff in casual play. But a few of them are baked into the randomizer, and in the fun % settings you can set up some fun enemy names and palette shuffling. And the fun enemy names were sort of the original memes of the Final Fantasy randomizer. They go back to its roots some years ago before I was even a member. But many enemies have renamed names, like the Roo-Roo-Roos and Team Tyro and Team Steak, and mages, images being called I mages. Yeah, that's how far back it goes. People were still calling Apple products I this and I that, so it's got some history.
Astos had the rod. So we now have the ability to do Earth Cave, and if I follow my own advice, which I've said throughout these flags, is listen to what the seed is telling you. I hate to say this, the seed is now telling me that other progression item's in Earth Cave. And I wouldn't blame anybody for not listening, but 43-minute mark, I'm saying that the seed is telling us to go to Earth Cave.
You think it's the chime or something that leads to the chime?
Very possibly. We do have the ability to go on rack as well, though. To the
That's
seed.
true, yeah. I really hate full clearing C, even more than full clearing Earth. One thing's for sure, Trenton. No matter where you go, do you full clear it?
Especially if you've seen that ribbon from Lafane, there's no leaving a chest. Leave no chest behind.
And just to reiterate,
SaintVonJester got the hairpin chests, I don't believe.
if you've watched FFR races before where there were no loose items, or, the likelihood of loose items was vanishingly rare, you would see people almost never full clear dungeons once they were satisfied. But in these loose items type seeds, there is an important progression item. It could be something like the loot, which you need to beat the game, and it could be literally anywhere. So the risk of leaving a chest behind, as Trenton has said, that would result in you basically dooming yourself to have to check everything and then ultimately come back to the one you forgot is just too great of a risk to risk taking, in other words. So no matter where these runners go, they're going to clear everything out looking for that loose item. And indeed, that seems to be what both of them are doing in the volcano right now.
The other thing to note about SaintVonJester is he's not necessarily passing on those chests as much as passing on them for now. Because they're so annoying to get to, you can go through the volcano, get these chests that are much more on the route or much more dense and available, and then if you don't find what you're looking for, you save outside the volcano, you walk back in, and you check those couple of chests. I haven't found a ton in here. I mean, we found a pro ring is probably the highlight. There was a flame sword too. But I'd say we're already past the point of flame sword being a notable pickup. Vorpal and Sun pretty well trumped that. About to come to the Agama room, which is always in a noteworthy location. Hey, our katana is a good find for the ninja. It is the best ninja weapon as far as non-Masamune goes, and it is basically an upgraded Vorpal sword.
Yeah, with
low health Agamas.
Well, you can grind those if you want. Doesn't seem to be too interested. He's already off fighting Hydras.
No, he's at a decent level. Like, if you weren't at this level, you might do Agamas to get up to it. It's really a question of, do I have the ability to kill carry right now? A katana and Excalibur swinging for 280? That feels pretty safe for carry.
Looks like Ali G is going to head to Ordeals, probably get his hands on the tail. I had speculated earlier he might be able to save some time if he got away from this play, but that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. With his party not having a thief, he's not as promotion dependent, but it will still help him out just the same.
Well, right now that Excalibur is the best weapon we have, so between either of the two runners, so AliGerBrap is going to find that Excalibur at some point, and we'll be happy to have class change for it. Also, with the dragon armor in the bank, the defense gets a huge boost from the moment you class change. And I say that because the absorb of the dragon armor is very good, as well as it gives some bonus element protection.
Yeah, Fire, Ice, and Lightning, it's got more resistances than anything but a ribbon. And now SVJ taking on Carrie on the left-hand side, the Fiend of Fire.
Bastion and Viz 2 coming out. Carrie has the ability to hit, sometimes quite hard. Opens with ink is not very scary. Plenty of damage coming out from the X-Cal. I'd be surprised if Quad X doesn't finish the fight if it goes off first. Well, it wouldn't have.
That's a tough
So
carry.
I would have been surprised.
But some 1,500 damage later, that carries in the grave, and the Orb of Fire is lit.
Orb number 1 comes at the 49-minute mark. I feel like with what SaintVonJester has, any dungeon is a reasonable play right now. How much money does SaintVonJester have? I didn't get a look, but
Yeah,
should have
quite a
20K
bit.
in the
Yeah,
bank.
pretty sure.
The menuing skill is so good, I don't get enough time to read the screen. But after clearing out Volcano like that, should have no shortage of money available.
Here we are in Gaia. Time to crack open that bottle. Opa! Pop the cork. But no time to celebrate. Gotta rescue that fairy and see what we get.
Picking up Quake, it can be a useful way to get past Lich 2, if you need one. Crone's for sale here.
Yeah. About the usual price. 20k, not bad. He's got lots of money, so he'll be able to afford it. He hasn't seen the vendor item, but it's just up ahead. We'll see if he manages to hold on to enough money to be able to afford it, and it looks like that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, 100k, it would be hard to spend that, except maybe if gold bracelets had been for sale here as well.
And here we are. $20,000 for the crystal. That's no thought given there. We're probably going to need that.
Yeah, if anything, I'm surprised you didn't also pick up a 10-pack of houses. Just for keeping you away from the inn, you can go ahead and use houses before going into dungeons instead.
You're in the crown, so conveniently we can route those two things together, Matoya and Northwest Castle, not too far apart when you're flying. SVJ is going to make the trek back to the airship as AliGerBrap just shuffling around some gear. These two runners at this point in the tournament still both 0-1, both looking to get out of the cellar. SVJ is a very competent racer who does a lot of play right now, very active in the community, and is racing regularly and at a very high level. AliG does a lot of races as well, also in with French language commentary. He participates in a lot of marathon-style events, especially ones where he can get involved in the Francophone and Final Fantasy Randomizer community. Though small, but something he's a big part of. And these two fairly evenly matched coming into tonight's race, but SVJ now with a marginal lead as he makes it happen here.
He's been able to progress much faster since the early game. This is one thing AliGerBrap did get done before SaintVonJester. Already got the rod from Astos. Chat would like to know who they faced in the first round, and I can tell you this: if you look at the tournament website, which we'll get a link to in the chat here, I believe, the home page, if you scroll down, there is a standings section, which would tell you that AliGerBrap was defeated by One Fine Day in the first round. As for SaintVonJester, faced off against Asher in the first round.
Yeah, so no fluke losses there, both defeated by other strong contenders.
There are plenty of fine competitors in this round, in this tournament all the way around, including many of them who are newer.
And that seems to happen. New tournaments bring a lot of new players, and just because somebody's new Like, this is a game that can be picked up fairly quickly, and that has been proven true over and over, as every time we have an event with new players joining,
wow.
we just reset out of the ribbon?
I am in disbelief. I think SaintVonJester's in disbelief. He's going back for it.
Yeah, I think he did not mean to do that.
That was a reflex.
Yeah. Yeah, ribbon is not quite the same thing as sleeping at the inn, SVJ. You gotta carry that out.
Yeah, nobody's gonna want to pass up on the ribbon. I don't even think you'd reset out of a third ribbon. I'm not even sure you would reset out of a fifth ribbon.
You never know, it might rip and go to tatters. Maybe it stacks with itself. It does not.
Might need a spare just to be safe. Hey, there's status poison coming out.
And not just coming out, it's working. Does SVJ have some softs? Yes, he did buy a 10-pack last time he was in town, so this won't be a problem.
I will say, if you ever have thoughts about putting down a couple of party members for a leisurely nap and funneling experience onto the rest of your party, that's a really good way to do it, is have them turn to stone, and then you just need a soft to bring them up.
Question from Chaz. Ribbon stack with dragon armor. In the sense that the dragon armor provides fire, ice, and lightning resistance, and the ribbon provides all the resistances, so it stacks the other 5 on top, but other than that, not really. You would still get the fire, ice, and lightning even if you didn't have the dragon armor. So, yeah.
So as far as element resistances go, the ribbon is the trump card there, and the absorb, the one absorb the ribbon gives, would stack with the absorb of the dragon armor.
Yeah. Elemental resistances don't stack with each other because they're just on or off. So as long as something gives you the resistance, you've got it. It really just boils down to that.
AliGerBrap is taking care of business up here in the Cardia Islands. Already found the opal bracelet. Opal shield is a good one. It's not quite as good as Aegis shield, but it's the same absorb. It just doesn't give the extra status. We've got the white shirt picked up on SaintVonJester's side.
And the TNT from the robot.
That's
I'll
just
have to take that to Narek.
Situation.
Ha ha ha. What's the bet that Narek gives you the adamant?
Oh, I don't know. Do we have another quest locked item? We've already found crystal herb.
Got a loose one.
Yeah. So I would go with adamant in that situation, as very, very likely. We've not seen ruby loot.
No. We have no ruby, we have no loot, we have no adamant yet.
Yeah, so I think for the logic of this to work out, it is going to be the adamant, and then it's 50-50 if we're in go mode, basically.
We ever get our hands on the chime?
We have it marked on SaintVonJester's side. Let's see.
Ah, yes, the crystal was the chime.
Oh,
excellent.
yeah.
From the chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, the trackers seem to know what they're doing better than I do, and it's their job. We actually have a new tracker joining us this evening for the first time, so give a warm tracker welcome to Kevin McLeod, who's doing a bang-up job alongside the regular Danny. The two of them are far better at keeping track of what's going on than I am.
Always great to have new people come in and help out on the team.
Hey, called it. He'll give you the adamant for the TNT, but he wouldn't do a favor to his dwarven buddy just on the other side of town. But that's dwarf politics, and I want no part of it. And there's the loot. A beautiful adamantite loot. Has an excellent sound.
Yeah, and that's fantastic news in that we don't have to search the rest of the game. So there's still many valuable things out there like the Masamune and like the Power Gauntlet. So I have certain chests that I identify that I'll check in Go mode when I need stuff. That's the play I would be in. I'm not quite sure how SVJ is going to react to the same thing, but there's several chests that are just right on your way.
Yeah, we've got the Q, we've got the Chime, Mystic Key. We got Go mode on SaintVonJester's side for sure.
Yeah, the crown was put up on the tracker because that was the most recent one we found, but the key we got early. That was from the king. So the items are there to be able to clear everything. This is one of those coming up for SaintVonJester that is not far off if you're looking for stuff, and that's what he's doing. Okay. So this is Go mode chests where stuff is just really easy to get to. Another great example is the Sharknado room where you can get to 3 treasure chests for all of 2 steps.
And it's also important to note that the step in front of a doorway will never have an encounter. The door tile itself, which goes when you step on it, will also not have a doorway and an encounter. And one step inside the door will also not have an encounter. So those 3 are all free. If you have to like dash into a room to grab a chest, you don't hit encounters on the way in or the way out. So it makes the trip less encounter prone than it looks.
Yeah, what was interesting is that he took the trap tile fight. Well, he didn't take the fight, but he took the trap tile where that one earth is to get the one chest. That is not one of the more common plays you'll see. But I think that'll be all we see for Earth Cave. Everything else is a little too far away.
Alright, as we cross the hour mark here, we've got SVJ in Go mode in the under halls of the Earth Cave, about to finish off Lich for his second orb. AliG still without an orb lit, does have the floater, has kept his second fighter Dan here to try to get a bit of a level advantage. We'll see how that works out over the coming time, and chasing SVJ, hoping for a mistake from the leader on the left.
A question in chat about the spells we have access to. Fast, we have plenty of. Temper was a little higher. It was 5 or 6. It's on the same level as Nuke, so not ideal in that regards.
Yeah,
We will have it, but not a ton of charges of it. So you'd like to save those for Chaos if possible.
The Temper was at level 6 there with Nuke, yeah. So you're either not going to see a lot of one or not a lot of the other.
Is orb number 2 for SaintVonJester. He should be able to do these last 2 dungeons pretty quickly as well. When you don't have to check chests, these Fiend dungeons are pretty quick.
Yeah, the Sky Palace is shockingly fast when you're just running right from one staircase to the other.
I think the really fascinating thing here is, I assume this will be Krakenside first, because why wouldn't it be? And that should lead to 5 chests checked. If that leads to nothing, does SaintVonJester make the play to go to Mermaids, where you can get all those chests encounter free?
You mean just like massa hunting kind of thing?
Or Power Gauntlet. Those would be the biggest things. Defense Sword would also be big. Just one of those 3 items, I think you'd feel a lot more comfortable.
He might be happy because he's a Vorpal fan and he's got it, so that might be enough of an endgame weapon for him.
If you had the Power Gauntlet, I think he'd do that with no hesitation.
Yeah, and with only level 6 temper, you're not going to get a ton of them either, so that doesn't really help your cause. And your ninja's not going to be able to help out with level 6 magic either, so it's a doozy. We'll see how he plays it.
And oh, by the way, half the fun of doing this is just speculating on the possibilities. So it's not necessarily that I think everything is what the runner will do. Certainly not what they should do. They should do what they're comfortable with. But it's fun to look at their options.
Yeah, a lot of the time, I sit here and I watch, and just because you think of a bad idea, if you didn't even think of it, then every, good idea started as somebody's bad idea, and then people look back and say, hey, that was brilliant. Why didn't I do that first? So we shall see. But no, I suspect he's going to fully go mode this. He does check a couple of the easy ones here, and probably will pop into the Sharknado room too.
Yeah, these two are definitely go mode chests if you need anything. And Sharknado was said earlier, it's only 2 steps. Because you walk north here. Well, he did take an extra one, but that was just being off by a step when he walked up. You walk up straight in front of the door, so that doesn't cost you anything extra. That's step 1, that's step 2, and then against the wall of the door is free.
Finds a katana, but I think he already had one, so not too worried about that. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. He's on Kraken's floor now, and we'll see how this goes.
Chat calling for the dual-wielded katanas.
You want a dual-wield katanas? You got a dual ninja. that's how you do it right now. They have them stand really close together.
I think one of the interesting things is to see that SaintVonJester has kept the thief/ninja at the front of the party for the entire game. That's commonly done in the early game if you bring a thief to help you on the ambush rate, etc. But this late in the game, you usually see the knight in the front to tank hits.
Hey, his ninja seems to be doing a good enough job tanking. I don't think he's been dead in a while. I mean,
yeah,
it's working. Ninjas have pretty good absorb by the end if you have flame or ice armor, or opal bracelet will work in a pinch. It's still very good. It just doesn't have any resistances. And he's made it work. I think he just wants to keep the knight one step back for the additional power.
I wonder if we got Brack on the ninja.
7 damage. Not a great start. We'll get the Invis 2s off in the fast, though. Yeah, the Bane Sword could make life easy for him here if he gets lucky, but otherwise this could turn sour.
Bringing the Invis out, he's down the Black Mage. This Kraken did not skip Arm Day.
4 hits, 116. Oh, yeah, Kraken knows what he's doing. 236. Fade comes out, 86. Bane Sword again, ineffective. 220, it's a better hit there. That Bane Sword's got somewhere around a 10% shot, so it's not as much of a blind gamble as you think, but Kraken succumbs to 81 more damage from Excalibur.
He got it. I've been converted to Brack strats against Kraken. I've seen it work, the math makes sense, so I love to use it there. But damage was enough to carry the day.
Yeah. Yeah, Bane is just slightly lower accuracy than Brack, so it goes down from having about like a 19% chance or something to something more like 12%, which is getting kind of slim. And indeed, it didn't work this time, but it's still worth a shot. Kraken is not vulnerable or, particularly vulnerable to that element the way Tiamat is, but Kraken has 40 less MDef, so the numbers work out the same for both bosses.
And AliGerBrap is going to pick up the loot. And looks like Ali does not have the cube yet to be in go mode. That was from Ice Cave, and yeah, we see Ali in Ice Cave yet?
I believe so, but I could be wrong. I've just been watching the whole thing. I don't remember what happened.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at the menu there to see if it was cube. The cube was there.
Question from chat. Did Ellie grind, or is he just fallen behind? He ran into some trouble early game with some creeps that were just unfriendly, and he wiped a couple of times and had to make a couple of long walks. And then he wiped getting greedy in the marsh cave and trying to check some keylock chests when maybe he should have just taken the floater and got out of there. So some early game deaths has really been the big difference here.
So now we take on the Sky Castle. Running away from the vampires, they're actually tend to be a pretty good source of experience in those packs if you've got the AoE magic to kill them.
And to be fair, in addition to AliG's early game deaths, SVJ has been nearly clinical. Very few wipes, very few mistakes. Did reset after receiving a ribbon and have to make a run back to the town to grab it a second time. But we're talking a 1-minute mistake versus a lot of the pitfalls that have befallen AliG. So full credit to SVJ for playing a very strong race.
Yeah, SVJ also made some calculated risks in skipping chests. Did not do Keylocked Marsh when that was an option. Skipped a little bit in Volcano with the hairpins, and those plays added up, so that's a few minutes saved in between that. Bypassing all the treasures of the first 2 floors, that's not surprising. We may see SVJ dip to one of the sides with several treasure chests in them on this next floor.
Yeah, you have to walk through the whole floor as it is. It's not a terrible idea to spend some time. The next floor also has eyes and other delicious grindables. So I like some chest checking on the first floor of Sky Palace just because the EXP gains are so good. But we shall see. Oh, not this floor, pardon me. I actually was talking about the very next floor.
I do believe eyes still come up on this floor. And SaintVonJester totally go modes that. That surprises me a little bit. I say that only because of the Earth Cave checks that SaintVonJester did.
Well, he go modes that floor too. He's not picking up what we're putting down. He's not going to fight the Hydras.
That was a
what
great
about the
experience
quick room
encounter.
Yeah, here's a quick room. Yeah, no encounters in this room. Those are all free tiles, and the whole doorway, as I explained at length before. So this is an easy no-brainer. If you want to check anything, you check that room.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised SaintVonJester did not route in one of those 2 rooms. Just because there's a bunch of treasures in there for the extra steps, so there's still value in that.
Trent, I'd like your angle on this. So SVJ, if you're in SVJ's head right now, you're doing pretty good. Not a lot of mistakes made. Hey, there's our friend Mr. Warmack. Timeout. Hold that thought. He's going to take this fight.
Well,
he
really
you're going to get those levels. Yeah, okay. I need a fish. Let's go hunt the whale.
The trouble is, Warmack has a whole lot of HP and not much in the way of weaknesses.
Well, you can always turn your tail and run later if things don't go your way, and I got a feeling this could turn ugly fast. Here comes a Lit 3. Got a couple of ribbons to help him out, but Jean is hurting. Jean are all okay.
The other big thing about fighting Warmack, though, is that boss pool of skills and abilities, so you start to find out what the other fiends don't have.
Well,
oh wow,
that's a
that might
Warmack.
Be the most paper Warmack we've ever seen.
He also attacked and missed the ninja, so dare I say we do a bit of reverse Matrix and farm the robots?
I don't think you're gonna get him common.
Well, we
Unless
do have
randomized to first encounter, but if you find him again, sure.
Nah, just these pesky hydras. Oh, that's ugly. In vanilla. In randomizer, sorcerers are often kittens if they don't have a touch attack.
Yeah, you come in here vanilla and you've got 5-6 enemies with trance and death touch.
Yeah. No bueno. Those guys were even scarier than the eye.
But this is a lot of nice experience available to him. I wonder if he didn't kill the Red Hydras because he wanted to save Brack charges, but he didn't use Brack against Kraken. So I don't know. AliGerBrap without that cube is continuing to check treasures, so looking through the Sea Shrine.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate time sink. He's missed one of the quest chains, hasn't he? Or was it just...
right that he doesn't have the cube, then yes. Or is looking for more in the way of weapons.
So the Brack misses Tiamat so far. Attacks Jean for 70, not a great shot. The second Brack, also ineffective. Tiamat's sweating a bit. That's a lot of Brack beams coming at her, and not too keen on all that. All those 5 heads twisting and turning, but no, that beam hits home and shattered into little bits. And the air orb is lit.
That's the power of Brack strats.
FFR, come for the nostalgia, stay for the instant killing of bosses. It's so satisfying.
See how badly we can break certain fights and situations.
Well, it's the Brack Show.
That's always one of the funny things that randomizers can do, is how much they break the games and how much you have to think of that you didn't think of before. Like, I believe you separated the morale of fiends so that they weren't too quick to run away.
Yeah, when randomizing all the stats, one of the things that... scaling the stats randomly, which is not the same as randomizing stats. We would originally randomize the morale as well, which did mean that sometimes the fiends were really prone to running away, which is even more anticlimactic than instantly killing them, so... we had an option later to disable that, and most people do now. They do not randomize the morale, so enemies are equally prone to run away as they were in vanilla, which is to say, not very so inclined.
You will still see it happen on occasion, especially Fiend ones. If you've done a level grind, it can happen. One of my friends has a clip of a Kraken running, and I made a Monty Python joke. Brave Sir Kraken ran away.
It works. They were forced to eat Kraken's minstrels.
That is a lot of EXP right there. I like to call that the encounter that broke the EXP scale.
Checking the last chests. Grabs a house. Not going to be of much use. Any old Frost Giant Frost Wolves. Sometimes unrunnable, but not today. Ooh.
Life 2 is the best healing spell in the game.
Jean takes one for the team, but with level 1 Life 2, we've got lots of charges of that.
Yeah, I think that was intentional to just let Jean go down that way in Life 2 because it's faster than menuing and heals.
Jean, guys, help me. I'm horribly injured. It's like, yeah, Jean, we'll get to you in just a second. He's not dead yet. I can still Life 2 him. He'll be dead by Thursday. Could you come back then?
Question in chat: was this an early flutter seed? It was indeed. Ali was the second one to get it, and that was still before the 40-minute mark.
The unusual desert kraken. Not something you see a lot of, but you will see one here, and you will see one as well in the promotional images for the very recently announced On-Rack Summer Party League that will be starting in some months' time. So focus your attention presently on the spring tournament. But know this, there is always more Final Fantasy Randomizer right around the corner, and that's very exciting.
As SaintVonJester deals with the speed bump that is Lich 2, why did Kraken have a desert background? It's...
Kraken has a desert background because Kraken was on hiatus. No, On-Rack, which leads into the Sea Shrine, is shuffled with Town Shuffle, and the backgrounds and the palette are adjusted to match where it went. So if Onrak ends up in the Melmond entrance, then it gets the desert background, and it gets this red and yellow palette that conjures up the image of the Melmondian desert. And if you're joining us from another seed that has been hosted over, or the completion of that other Final Fantasy Randomizer match taking place earlier, we'd like to welcome you into this one. We've got SVJ in the Temple of Fiends Revisited at the hour 18-minute mark, leading the way. AliGerBrap with just one orb lit at this time. Well off the pace, but as we all know, the great equalizer, Topher, has yet to rear its ugly head, and SVJ still hasn't fought any of the Final Fiends yet, except for Lich 2.
The speed bump.
He tripped over him on his way down to the fire floor.
SVJ's execution has been great. The equipment could be a little better, but we're very reasonable, and I don't think we'll see any deficiencies before Kraken 2. Even then, I think we're fine against Tiamat 2. And really the questions are, how are we against Kraken 2 and Chaos at this point?
Yeah, we've got some decent gear, but we don't have very good black magic, and we don't have much in white magic besides Invis 2 and Life 2. But Life 2 is not going to help you in the Fiend fights themselves.
Another Gene death. I don't know if anybody's kept a running total on that. Looks like AliGerBrap is now up to the mermaids, so we'll find out if there's anything good here. Opal armor is very good if you're running 2 knights.
And his party's not super high level either, just cracked into the 20s now. Not a lot of HP is the biggest concern about that low level. MDef not super high either. Attack power. Frankly, there's a lot of things that levels get you in this game. It's one of the few solutions to this game's problems, is to grind more levels. SVJ hasn't really done that, been playing at a very breakneck pace.
Presumably, though, has level 2 on the knight to recover, but the knight and the ninja also should be able to live through a nuke situation.
They can live through a nuke, but there's very little in-battle healing in this party. So, I mean, even if you just squeak through, is that going to make the difference? Or are you just going to wipe on the very next attack? Because not much you can do after. We shall see. Kraken 2 around the corner.
Often a gatekeeper in these randomizer seeds. Kraken 2 has enough HP to be dangerous. Even
The
more
knight
attack
in the
power.
back with the Vorpal sword, getting fasted, getting tempered up. Only 3 charges for the whole Topher, and Invis 2, of course, an excellent choice. Gets that off early. That's a good quick turn there. That evasion's really going to help. It doesn't really matter because Kraken starts with Lit 2, which is not much to be afraid of.
No, that's basically a free turn that Kraken just gave us. And this is a low evade with 7 hits, but high absorb Chaos, Kraken, which incidentally happens to be where Vorpal shines.
We shall see. No crits yet. 8 hits, 303 damage that time. Here comes a swirl. That's heavy damage. 244 on the knight. Almost half killed.
There was definitely a crit on that batch. And on that one too with 250. I think he caught it.
Super low roll on a fate, only 87, but 18 more, and that's it. Kraken chipped apart, and
That's
the
how
knight
close
comes
it
out.
was.
Yeah, comes out with a life 2. The knight has 2 more charges, so there's lots of life 2 in this party, but that's really it. It's kind of a outlast kind of party.
Yeah, I think that life too was a factor for SaintVonJester coming in at these levels instead of a little bit higher.
So we've got only 2 bosses remaining. Tiamat 2, Chaos. We haven't seen much out of any of the Fiends. We've even fought a War Mech. Didn't see much scary out of that either. No Cure 4 sightings yet. I haven't seen a nuclear or a nuke to my recollection. Are we in for it here?
That swirl was pretty much the most dangerous thing we've seen.
There's a fast. He's got 2 charges of that out. 1 for this fight, 1 for the next one. Black Mage going Ice 3. He's going to save both tempers by the look of it. for the Chaos fight.
That would definitely be the preferred, unless Tia forces you to use it.
7 hits, 116. Oh, Black Mage is down already. He's not going to get that Ice 3 off, which is not a big deal. Oh, the ninja's fasting himself. No more fasts for the final battle.
I don't mind that at all, because as I described the katana earlier, it's an upgraded Vorpal. Actually has a higher crit rate than Vorpal. Or actually, I think it's the same crit rate, but higher base damage.
That's correct. 4 hits, 93. Ice 3, 69. It's been a lot of chip damage so far. Who's going to break through here? Ice 3, 50 more damage. Katana, 213, but that's enough.
Yeah,
and
low
T-Match
HP
goes
on
down,
these fiends.
Well, you can always hope for that when you stroll in with a low-level party, that maybe, just maybe, they'll all low roll and you'll squeak through. That has been SVJ's MO so far, and it has been working. One more fight to go. Hour and 24 minutes in, SVJ versus AliGerBrap, both 0-1, both trying to stay out of the cellar. SVJ could move up to 1-1 with a victory here against Chaos.
And this is on very, very good pace, but we still have the final boss to go. What does Chaos have? Is he low on the HP scale? Did he roll up in contrast to everybody else? First melee hit's not that bad if a Black Mage can live through it.
It's not that bad at all. 4 hits, 77 damage. 3 hits, 93. That was a crit. Gets the fast off on the Knight. That could swing things. Now the Tempers, he's got 2 charges of that. Another Invis 2, he's got 2 charges of that. No, there will be no Temper. The mighty Black Wizard has struck out. Invis 2 is off, though.
That
8
hurts
hits.
a little bit. The crits can get there. The question is, does the magic come...
And we're back.
Right, I'm refreshing.
I'm sort of back.
Looks like Ali is over in the ice cave now, which is the right direction for go mode. Nuclear comes out.
Nuclear. Some low rolls, not much to be afraid of. 8 hits, 140. I'm not sure how much we missed, but this Chaos has got to be getting low if everybody else is. 7 hits, 142. There's Nuke. 104 terminated. And you can put a ribbon around it.
I feel like we saw the whole Temple of Fiends be low HP.
Yeah, that Chaos was borderline, but still, yeah, on the low side. Sub 130 for SVJ.
Yeah, that'll come across at an official time of 125.49. Already getting the GG from AliGerBrap.
Yeah, just a really efficient game played by SVJ tonight. Didn't do too much that was out there in terms of risk. You could say that skipping those keylock chests was a risk, but on the other hand, Ali tried to pick them up and died, so maybe that was the risk. I think SVJ went in with a strategy of making as few blunders as possible and just cruising his way through the way he could, and it was a very effective strategy that netted him a clean victory tonight. Joining us in chat in the broadcast booth, tonight's champion SVJ. GG, congratulations. Moving up to 1-1.
Thank you. I was practicing all week for this. Oh, I found everything I needed and I just went. I was talking to Edgeworth and everyone. Is this when you find what you need and you know what you got, you just go, and that's what I did.
That led to you not having a few things, like no Masa, Power Gauntlet, Defense, Sword.
Usually I have those, I just didn't... I got the go mode, like, let's go, let's just do it, and I did.
And this seemed to be the Temple of Fiends that really paid off for that.
Oh.
If you had a prevailing strategy, we observed a few times that you would get the incentive item or the thing you were looking for, and then you would kind of just run out of wherever it was. That happened once when you escaped from the Marsh Cave as soon as you found the floater, and it happened later. Was that sort of your strategy to like get in, get out, avoid making any big mistakes?
Yeah, Didn't know what anything had in the marsh cave. I wasn't sure. I just kind of kept running from everything. My thief was doing his job, and so as I got there, as I found the floater, I was like, okay, I can get in the air in sub 30. Let's do it, and I did. And I just like going to find everything I needed. I noped out of the feign because the guy was going to get me stuck in there, so that's why I did that.
Ah. Yeah, you had chat and us confused.
We
That
were both.
does make a certain amount of sense.
Yeah, if you look at the video, both the wandering people were blocking both the exits. So
They weren't feeling it.
yeah, well, they were like, nah, you could stay here all day, man. Lupa? So I noped out, got the ribbon again, and they were gone.
We were wondering if you were like, you just had a moment where you thought it was like an inn and you could just grab the item and reset out. And I was like, but no, that makes some sense to you. So that explains that. So did you have a target level in mind when you knew that you weren't going to have a lot of access to Temper and not, besides Life 2, which is a great spell, and Invis 2, which are both at level 1, there's not a lot of healing magic in your party. So what was your plan to counteract that?
Oh, I got into Mirage Tower at 18. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to farm somebody, and lo and behold, Blessed Warmech shows up, and he was pretty paper, so I was able to kill him, get a couple levels, and I was like, that is my ticket just to go, and that's what I did. I was going for about 20.
With the mildness as far as skills and spells go that you had seen to that, were there any nerves when you went into chaos?
Yeah, I didn't see nuclear, I didn't see nuke, I didn't see zap, I didn't see Cure 4, nothing. So I was just I had the Vorpal, I had Excalibur, I had 2 katanas, and the katana was actually whooping some butt today. So I was able to use that to my advantage. And like you said, Fade was level 4, like no cure spell, so it was basically go mode and ham. Yeah, I don't normally turn it on like that, but I was like, I know Ali's really good, so I was like, I just need to just do my thing. I got a lot of coaching and stuff from my community, so thank you guys very much. And they were just helping me out and cheering me on and throughout the week when I was practicing. So
another thing you did that was almost a throwback was you put the thief up front early for the bonus surprise chance that he has at low levels, but then you kind of let him hang out there after he became a ninja and got promoted. Was your plan all along to kind of use him to distract hits so that your knight could sit back and swing away?
Yeah, so I found the opal bracelet, and if I didn't find any good armor, I was gonna throw the opal bracelet on my knight and just keep cruising. But I found fast is level 1, quad X was level 1. I have no idea what was in Topher. I didn't even look. So I just, once I had that in the night, once I had the opal bracelet, the thief wasn't taking a lot of damage. So I was like, okay, we'll just leave him in front for the chance to run, the chance for first strike. And I used that just to keep booking. No save items at the beginning. That was really killing me. So
it wasn't killing you as many times as it killed Ali-G. That actually helped you establish an early lead. He wiped to the creeps a few times. I don't think you even ended up fighting them at all. But
no, I ran.
Yeah, yeah. He wiped to
poison.
They had lit 3. The Caribbees had lit 3.
Yeah, the creeps had damage poison, and they killed Ali-G a couple of times right off the bat. So that kind of let you get off to a nice, healthy start. I mean, you could never have known, neither did he, that you got away from them. But after that, you were in the air ahead of him. He made the risky proposition of checking the key-locked marsh chests right after he got the floater. Mm-hmm. And he wiped the first time on a second set of wizards that he couldn't get away from. So, yeah. Some difficult choices he made. I think he was trying to do something unusual, because that's one of those plays where if you go for something like that, you can be pretty sure the other person probably won't. And it turned out to be a bit of a waste for him. But,
yeah, I mean, I looked at him. I stalled. I was like, nope, I'm just going to go.
Turned out to be the right play. It looks like the other loose item was the ruby, which we know probably leads to nothing.
Probably leads to the ship, because that's the only other thing I didn't find. Whew. Sorry. Well, I've been standing up the whole time.
You got the standing desk with the better ergonomics?
No, I was standing in front of my TV just screaming at my TV, "Go! Come on, Gene!" And everyone's like, "Which one?"
It is a good question. Do we get a Gene death count?
Yes. Ashy, are you or Elmarkin? Can you put Gene in my chat? And I'll tell you exactly how much it is. Oh, there. I'm here. Okay. Gene, we have 7 Gene deaths.
Okay.
And that's through all the genes, apparently. I'm sure they're missing some. A lot of wipes, too, so let's just add like 4 to that, so that's like 11.
Right. Ali taking the Tyro fight, that's just a terrible life choice right there.
I mean, if you're gonna,
I didn't see any stakes.
If the Light Warriors are gonna stand the whole time, it only seems fair that you should too, in solidarity, right?
Well, Will
No,
Cleosis
no, I don't disagree.
when he does things, and it's like, why do you do? I asked him why he does that, and he's like, "Well, I can move around. I'm not sitting there being tired." And it's like, I'm sitting there fighting. It's like, oh, I'm walking, and like, yeah, I'm doing really good. I did everything I did when I was a little kid, moving my controller up and down and side to side when I'm running around.
Yeah, if you can't, if the nostalgia isn't enough, you can literally just live the life of a 7-year-old again.
Does that mean
Anyway,
you
yeah.
candy before bed?
Not after a big event like that. You'll never sleep right. But you can take a few deep breaths, champion. You move up to 1-1. I bet that feels a lot better than
it does. I mean, Ali, like I said, Ali's really good. I didn't get to talk to him much. I'd love to talk to him more about this game, and it's just, I've just been practicing. I mean, my run with Asher was, a war mech wipe sad, but I got my revenge on him today, so.
Yeah, one of the changes that Meridian patched between the last production release and this one is that the encounter rarity shuffle includes the war mech now, so it's not always in slot 7, whereas in the original version, encounter frequency shuffle left the war mech at 7 because we thought it was too sacred to mess with, but actually the reception has been great. There's been war mechs all over that bridge now, and I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, he screwed me over last time, but like I said, I got revenge this time. Whew. Sorry. Still out of breath here. I'm still excited.
Well, you should be. You're the winner. And at 1-1, you're now in the thick of what is the highest talent pool I think we've ever seen. And we'll have to wish you good luck in this coming up draw.
Thank you.
I mean, luck's nothing to do with it. I don't know if there's a single person at 1-1 that you really want to have to play, but you're going to get one. And you go on from there. The format of this tournament is a lot of fun. For anyone just tuning in might not know the details. Everyone that's at least 2 and 3 after 5 rounds, the 2 and 3 people will go into this meat grinder and all play against each other. The winner gets to move up to be with the 3 and 2s in the play-in race, and that will fill out the playoff bracket with all the people that are 5-0 or 4-1. Now, those play-in races, let me tell you, they are some high-intensity stuff. You essentially have a whole bunch of people, like 10 or more, that are in a winner-go-home mentality, all racing against each other at the same time for a handful of spots. There is nothing like that. And everyone who can avoid it by getting to 4-1, they should strive to do so. Because it is a death pit.
Yeah, we got another war mech. The thing about a play-in race situation is it's such a different animal when you're racing against multiple people, because there really is nothing you can do that you can be sure no one else will do.
Yeah. There's no unique play, but on the other hand, you don't have to win outright. You don't have to come first. You just have to come like 4th or however many places there are. So it's all about sort of risk balance and trying to make the choices that won't knock you out of the leader pack, and then you gradually lose people as they take bad wipes or make little mistakes or whatever happens, and then you just end up with that handful of people that finish at the front of the pack and move on. And boy, are those ever exciting to hopefully be a part of.
Past war mech, I think it's on the same encounter that SaintVonJester was. Likewise, passing on the Red Hydra. I mean, all that great experience.
They had a lot of hit points. Well, at least at level 10.
You tested them out earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough, then. They usually are very low.
Alrighty, the five-headed fiend of air succumbed to Brack on the other side of the battlefield, and here's Bane. Not quite as accurate, but a whole lot cheaper.
Not hitting very hard.
Tom swings for 179. Julia, maybe? There's Brack. Ineffective. No more Fates. Gonna have to change plans. Yeah, we'll go to Bane. No more Brack. Temper up that Knight. Another 179. We know Tia's got about the normal amount of health.
We didn't really need that red mage alive here anyways.
Little fire 2 for 15 chip damage.
That's a good time
Throws
for
out the
Quad
Quad
X.
X. It was a good time, but not good enough a time. 8 hits, 339. Now it's even better time for Quad X.
Hey, there's Thunder.
Quad X still no good. We got more than 300. Another 334 knocked off. Now is a fine time for Quad X. We got to be getting there, right?
Wow.
Not yet.
That is a lot of HP on this Tia one.
There's another 300 knocked off, so let's give Quad X another go. 280 terminated. Quad X, so close, but so far. Would have worked that time.
Quad X be automatically successful under 300 HP, so...
Can somebody
That
fill
was
me in? I see
very
that cubes lit up on LEG's side, but I didn't see when he finally got around to picking it up. So that puts him in go mode as well. Just gotta...
yeah, Ali was doing that while SaintVonJester was in Temple of Fiends, either against Tia or Chaos at that point.
Ruse Invis 2. Now that's a magic shop with a specialty. You know, in the Dungeons and Dragons days, if you focus on a particular aspect of magic, you get one more charge every day in that school. That's what that guy's doing. He's really looking at the evasion illusion school.
Any level 3, level 4 magic to check out? Ali's having second thoughts.
It's the illusion shop, probably run by a gnome. Fear is also kind of illusory.
I wonder if AliGerBrap got life 2 on the night yet. If not, that's probably a thing to be looking for. Question in chat. I assume the chip minigame is out of the question in these randomizers. So, although Nitz can answer this better than I can, the bottom line is we needed those bytes for something else.
Yeah, the ship minigame is gone. It breaks my heart. Maybe someday we'll try and put it back in, but for right now, we've hijacked that valuable part of the ROM to write some other code over top of it. So, part of the magic that makes this work is the blood of the ship minigame greasing the wheels.
Also asked in chat if AliGerBrap is keeping the one party member down intentionally. Yes, doing that to send experience to everybody else. It's like getting a 30% experience bonus or something like that.
Yeah, you keep a party member dead so that the others split the EXP, so they're all going to get a third more. The other thing is, every single turn you don't have to input an action for them, so it shaves partial seconds off of your input time. They don't do anything, so it saves time for them doing nothing, and so on and so on and so on. So it can be a real time savings if it doesn't cause you to wipe or take too much longer to fight fights. In the end, killing off one party member is a very popular strategy that has been proven effective.
SVJ, I was curious about your choices for your go mode check. You even went so far as to check one before the vampire and take that trap pile fight.
So, you mean the Earth?
Yeah.
I just wanted to check chest in my way because I wanted that delicious power gauntlet, and I didn't find it. So, And the one gray worm that I accidentally took in Volcano was just me being really nervous.
Yeah.
I was on edge the whole time because, like I said, it's
There ain't nothing like tournament action, is there? There is
No.
nothing like it.
no. I mean, I'm 37 years old, and here I am shivering and shaking like a freaking teenager.
Yes. Don't try to explain to your coworkers. It's kind of like Fight Club, you know? The less said, the better.
I tried to explain this to my boss, like, because he like watches me, and the one time he actually watched my stream is when I was streaming Little Mermaid, and and for the Big 20, and he's like, "You were playing Little Mermaid." I was like, "Yeah." And
Don't judge me. I'm going for the world's record at Little Mermaid.
Oh,
Thank you very
Trolls
much.
with Crack coming out again.
Yeah. Out from the bridge with the
We didn't
rocket
really do that
crack.
Red Mage anyways, did we?
No, we didn't. Frankly. Especially because the knight might have life too. And he does.
I'd have left him down anyways.
Yeah. Ali not racing
Finish
his...
off Lich without it. If he dies, he dies. Alright, so Ali about to take on Speed Bump 1.
Yeah, watch out for this. This fight can really go sideways if you get off to a bad start.
I learned quite.
Or it can be over in a couple of swings.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, you kind of do know, but you never know. Well, that's just about it for any kind of tracking that needs to be done, so... Little golf clap for the excellent and flawless work of Danny and first-timer Kevin McLeod tonight. I'd like to thank them for tireless efforts behind and just to the side of the scenes, make the rest of us look good.
Absolutely greatly appreciated. A big thanks to Marty working with Speed Gaming, who ran around and set up a bunch of these for us tonight.
Yeah, if you've been watching Twitch for more than our broadcast, you'd know that there were 5 glorious FFR races, and 3 of them, I believe, were restreamed with overlapping time slots and cross-hosting probably between them as they wrapped up. Like, that's a lot to do, and Speed Gaming apparently loves us, and we love them too, so thank you to everybody who helps make that happen.
Right, here we go. The AliGerBrap coming into Temple of Fiends, 1:45 on the clock. Very reasonable time under these flags. It just happened to be a jet seat if you followed the right path. I think Ali may have been off on the key item count, leading to still digging for chests. But didn't really find anything for those extra chests. Which I think was really only Sea Shrine. I don't think Ali checked Sky. Now we have AliGerBrap taking on Temple of Fiends Revisited. Similar levels to what SaintVonJester did, but with only 3 party members instead of 4. Gas dragons come up a second time. We don't really know how hard they are, but they're only hitting once.
Didn't
not for a
even
lot.
know. I'd like to thank Gene for allowing me to run from that.
They're over 250 on the HP.
That's gross.
Looks like they're over 300. I think that works out to somewhere between 300-400. I often don't try and keep exact numbers on these if an approximate number will do the job. Honestly, for me, when I'm looking at those encounters, I just have one question. Can I kill it in one round?
That's what I was trying to do.
Frost Wolves, they've got cremate just to eat up some time. You were talking about the time saves of the 3-man strats. That's another one. Anytime an AoE comes out, one less character for it to hit. Or Frost Wolves, because we haven't had Frost Wolves enough yet.
They're pretty weak too.
So speaking of things that kill Frost Wolves, that was a very, very nice early mage staff.
Yes, that saved me a lot. I like to try to put one, like a spell or a sweeper item out while I'm trying to run. So if I don't run, I don't get blasted with a lot of hits from enemies.
I like to call that nuke and run strats. Alright, the speed bump. Lich 2.
Who? Oh.
That purple thing that was a blur.
Oh, I don't remember what it was.
Actually might have had more HP than Kraken 2 did. Onto the fire floor, those delicious agamas, worth approximately 3 agamas worth of experience. Now Ali is getting to some higher levels, up to 27 now. Do you happen to know what the breakpoint on Excalibur swings is? Or perhaps chat does have that information handy for me. Which I really ought to learn one of these days.
Do you, though?
Well, not do I, should I? Chat says high 30s. Oh.
For Excalibur?
Other chat says 1829.
Excalibur's 1829, Masa's 1324.35.
Yeah. Okay, so 29 would be the nice target Excal. One of the reasons I never memorized the levels is because it's the multiples of 32 on hit percent chance. So you can always just look at the character and figure out how close they are. But other people are better at memorizing numbers than I am. Goodbye, Carrie.
Hello, seafood.
Taking a lot of turns here.
Yeah, pesky, gigantic encounters with a bunch of annoying enemies. Just gotta stand there and take it.
Well, Cleosis joins us in chat, calling for the resurrection of Will. I don't know. Those life twos, they're a limited resource. You gotta manage it properly. I think we'll see Will come up right before Kraken 2. Okay-ish damage from Ice 3 against the Waters. And the 1-round kill. That's nice. I think that is level 20. So that worked out very well. I know that's 28 for time. Gotta get one more. And this might do it.
The so-called EXP Pinata.
A very good experience counter. Be better with 2 of the big eyes, but this is what we have. And another 3,000 experience and another encounter. I'm getting the high ambush rate.
I was thinking about that thief. It kind of counteracts that. I don't like to rely on him, but it helps.
Yeah, the difference is starker at lower levels, where it can make like a multiple % difference. And like a 3% difference doesn't sound like a lot until all of a sudden it's the difference between you wiping and getting away.
Good opening melee damage from the Excalibur. Fast now gets off. I don't think this Kraken's surviving another Excalibur hit.
No, if Ali can get through here the way that SVJ did, you'll see that these bosses do not have a lot of HP, but we never got too far into their skill and spell trees for that very reason, so we don't really know what's lurking under the covers, so for Ali's sake, you better get this done quick.
Well, maybe I was a little off. I guess there were some crits in there on SVJ's side I didn't notice.
That's unpleasant.
And
there we go.
Ali will move on. Destiny for a rendezvous with Tiamat 2.
A sacrificial lamb takes a good beating. He's gonna leave Will dead again. That seems a little harsh to me, but here I am on the sidelines.
At least until the Dev Battle Royal. Couple tempers in there. Higher levels for Ali, so a little bit more spell charges, I think, there at the temper. Well, using up a lot of temper charges on this Tiamat fight. Gets an unknown chaos. I'm not crazy with that. Definitely want to be able to move this along, but not at the expense of chaos.
Yeah, the tempers is particularly painful to have to waste, because chaos has an expected double the amount of HP, just about. Not exactly, but ballpark of Tiamat, and like that's when those tempers really start to matter, when they're adding hundreds of damage every attack. That matters more when the enemy has twice as many HP, so it's a steep price to pay.
Quad X success. Quad X successful, AliGerBrap. On to fight the Fiend of Chaos. That fiendish jerk that he is. You know how much of a jerk Chaos is? Always double parks in the parking lot.
Ooh.
It's one of those guys.
Yes, he is. Getting the equipment set up here for AliGerBrap. Just amazing that this seed really didn't lend itself to a lot of equipment, so...
Steel armor was cheap at the beginning.
Yeah. I think in the post
Would you say it was a steal of a deal? Alright, yeah.
I guess the those probably Mirage and Sky were loaded if we had looted them. Because we saw different places with SVJ checking Volcano and Ali checking Sea Shrine. Didn't pick up block. You could try slow if you felt the need. Out of nuke charges for the red mage. And just some little chip damage with the spells.
Every little chip helps. We know that this Chaos doesn't have too many tricks up his sleeve from what we saw. There is a nuclear later on. There it is. But he's got enough
back
HP
to
to...
laying down on the job.
I mean, just taking a nap.
Resting his eyes.
Resting his heart.
I feel like making a really bad joke there, but I'm going to pass on it.
Almost out of tricks. Chipping away with Ice 2 now. 24 damage.
Oh, wow!
The cold handshake. And that's it for Chaos.
That's got to be one of the smallest damage rolls to kill Chaos.
Well, if you want to finish in under 2 hours, that's what it takes. AliGerBrap comes in at 159 and change. And SVJ wins a laugher here to move to 1-1. Ali will slip to 0-2.
Is this working?
There's AliGerBrap. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Well, you got through it, and you got through it in sub 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I did a big mistake is, like, going to Clear Sea instead of going to Ice Cave. I was thinking with my start that, or like, we couldn't really find save items early, so you had to pretty much hope for the best to get to Crescent Lake / Elfland, just to be able to save regularly, so, like, it was kind of hard to start.
No AoE could definitely throw you at the beginning of any seed.
Yeah, you had a rough go there early on in Temple of Fiends with the creeps wiping you, and then it happened again outside of Corneria, and I mean, that was a tough way to get started, and SVJ left like no openings, so it was going to be very hard to come back even from that early series of trouble you ran into. Besides the beginning, though, the struggles there, the going to Sea Shrine, like, how do you feel you played in general? Are you just satisfied but some mistakes, or was it just like one thing after another, did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had to gamble because I pretty much knew that, like, unless I got really, like, everybody got the same bad luck, I expected, like, I had to do something, and, like, it's something that, like, I don't know if I should have played differently, but, like, even if I don't go to Ice Cave, I don't think it changes a lot. I just feel that I'm still rusty with the flags. I've played them a lot, and, like, I mean, 159 is, like, still, like, sub time for me, so, like, I'm still happy with my time, but, like, to see, like, someone, like, crushing you by, like, 30 minutes, you're wondering what you did wrong, so I will have to watch the VOD to see where everything went wrong, aside from there.
I think if one thing stood out...
You may have cut out there. You think if one thing stood out?
it was the not going to Ice Cave sooner, and that probably would have put you in go mode.
Yeah, not finding that cube was a big problem because you had to like full clear some dungeons after that. So that was like the biggest piece of time, but it was like one small little thing at the same time. So when you watch the VOD, you'll notice that, and you'll notice that while you wiped a few times early going, like SVJ managed to avoid fighting creeps, he got the runs. He got the runs. He got to run away every single time, and that really helped him get to like where the save items were for sale at Crescent Lake. So that was the big difference early. So there we have it. 125-48 on SVJ's side, 159-12 on AliGerBrap. SVJ moves up to 1-1. He'll roll the dice with everyone else in the middle of the pack. Ali slips to 0-2. Still not out of this one. 3 wins on the trot will put him at 3-2 and into the play-in race, and even finishing 2-3, there's still hope there for those people with that score as well. So more FFR in this tournament. No one is in for sure, and no one is out for sure yet. AliGerBrap, any final thoughts tonight?
Well, I'll have to pick up my game. If not, I'm going to party with the confused old man.
They do
Gonna
know how
have
to
to.
party.
They do. You know, they're moving and shaking now. SVJ, final thoughts tonight.
I want to thank everyone, Speed Gaming, Nitz, Trenton, Danny, everyone I've missed who tracked and restreamed. Ali, it's GG, man. I've been practicing a lot for this tournament. I don't want to pull any punches on anybody. I know that it's a really hard, tournament. We got a lot of good people, and I want to make a showing at least. So I didn't do a really good job in the last tournament. So I want to say, hey, I'm here. I'm gonna screw up somebody's day. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're 2-0 or 0-4. Everyone is still in this right now, and yeah, I just thanks everybody, and again, GG, Ali, really.
Well, at 125, I'm sure everyone's paying attention now. This is a very solid time and a very convincing win to put you right back into the hunt. Trenton, I'll let you wrap this one up.
Well, it has been a pleasure, my friend. Always love to get in the booth here with you and get a couple of these in, whatever the event may be. Is a terrific showing, and Ali played very well. Some things just beyond your control early that you can't feel bad about, and things have a way of snowballing in Rainbow. So, rough starts can build, but it was still a very good run. Don't want to undersell that. Ali is a great player, and look forward to plenty more ahead there. SaintVonJester moving into the 1-1, which means could be the one who clobbers me next round. We'll see how that goes. But there is a lot of great action ahead in this randomizer tournament. I believe it's 4 matches on the calendar for tomorrow. There's a couple on tap for the weekend. There's plenty ahead, so make sure you're following the Speed Gaming family of networks. Follow Final Fantasy as a game on Twitch, because you can see when people are playing the randomizer wherever that may be. Thank you again to Speed Gaming, and thank you to each and every one of you who spent this part of your evening with us, and hope everybody has a great rest